Rejoice me to welcome to What's Brewing. My name is Chisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
So guys, listen, black people are online admitting things they've been afraid to admit as a black person until now. So this trend started off really innocently and has quickly turned into a highly controversial topic right now online and is becoming what some people are defining as anti-black. They're calling the people who are participating in this anti-black because they do not like what these individuals are sharing. Since I don't know where to start here, I'm going to start from the very beginning. Side note, I quickly realized that I had to approach this as a spectator because it gets deep. There's so many layers to this. So many people have different opinions. It gets crazy. Everything began with this video that was shared by a TikToker by the name of Brooklyn Bread 1981. Grab your coffees. All right. So let's read this real quick. The first post was this one right here. It says, I used to be afraid to admit this as a black person, but I'm not afraid anymore. What could she possibly have been afraid to admit? Next post, it says, I get really nervous and anxious when I'm around hood people. And of course, here she has the cringe emoji and the side eye. She's like, oh, this is kind of hard to admit, kind of awkward. And she did not expect this, but this post got over 139,000 likes, almost 10,000 shares, over 5,000 comments, and people are responding, adding on things they are too afraid to admit as a black person. Let's check out some of these comments and see what the people have to say, guys. This shit gets deep, so we're just going to take this slow. First comment here says, saying you're afraid of the hood or people that live in it just further perpetuates the idea that poor and / or black people are dangerous / criminal, which we know isn't necessarily true. Somebody else here says, them hood girls just stare you down and wait for you to look at them the wrong way. This is another comment. So that first comment, which obviously got a lot of attention, but get this. That first comment that I read, that's like, hey, you're perpetuating a stereotype here. That got like almost a little bit over like 1,000 likes. The top comment though, which at 10,000 likes, is this chick saying, them hood girls just stare you down and wait till you look at them the wrong way, with the dead emoji. And a bunch of people responded back and said, for real. Now, guys, what I'm reading here are comments from other people. If you want my opinion, you wait until the end of the video. I am going to be careful to make sure that I'm just presenting what's going on here because there's too much to unpack and there's a lot of nuance to this discussion, right? Somebody else here says, hood people trigger my anxiety disorder because they do too much. Always mad, always fighting. As you guys can probably tell, like I can see that people are being a bit facetious with all this. Like, you know, they're joking around with the responses, but there's some truth into their experiences that they're sharing to this particular topic. Guys, this is just one of the very controversial posts that was related to this trend. Here's somebody else who says, same hood people don't care about life. And somebody else who says, yeah, plus I don't know how to fight. So people are like, hey, I don't know how to fight. And I'm scared. Somebody else who says they don't either. I'm from the hood. I know. They just be willing to fight more. Here's somebody else who says, girl, I don't even go over there. I don't know the rules. What do you guys think of what you've heard so far? Somebody else here says, me too. They're too unpredictable. All right. Laughing emojis here. And somebody else who says, especially back in high school, they were always ready to fight someone at 7 a.m. Like how you just woke up and want to fight. All right. So this is a big post posted by this chick that opened the floodgates for people to share their experiences. You might be curious, like, what else did other people have to say? And we're going to come back to this topic because obviously this was the most controversial post. And it being the original post, I think also may have helped with that. So Here are the people chiming in. This person here says, let's go back to that first post. This first post says, I used to be afraid to admit this as a black person, but not anymore. Next slide says, so because I have broad vocabulary and talk proper, in quotation marks, makes me whitewashed. So this guy's had experiences of speaking proper and being labeled as whitewashed and not as black just because he speaks proper. Let's check out some of these comments real quick. Somebody else here responded back to his post and says, yep, this and other black folks mad at this trend, calling it anti-blackness. Some of us tired of being bullied. There's definitely truth to this particular post right here. There are black people who look at people who speak proper as not being black enough. This is true. Okay, we can't deny that this one's not a fact, for sure. Another woman here chimed in to support the guy's post and says this, 16 plus likes. Here's another comment that says, laugh out loud, no, talking proper is probably not why they call you that. I talk proper, in quotation marks, he says there, and we chilling with everybody. You probably act a certain way. What do you guys think? Is it acting a certain way? And the question is, what is that certain way? Help my man out over here who's tired of the bullying for having a vast vocabulary. Somebody else here says, no, but if people are calling you whitewashed, there's probably more to the story than just grammar and vocabulary, or you hanging around the wrong people. I think what's surprising, not surprising. It's not surprising. Instead of saying, I can see that, and we have seen that when somebody speaks truth like this, people want to find a reason to call this guy out and act like he's the problem, when we all know that there's a lot of truth to that particular statement, right? Here's another comment that says, bro, my mom and family members call me whitewashed because I talk proper. Here's somebody else who agrees. I was bullied by so many other black girls in middle school because I wasn't like them. Another person here says, right, like what? I'm sorry I pronounce my words right. Here's somebody else who says, real. This is a chick. Keep in mind, guys, this is not a situation where you see men are the only ones who are agreeing with this topic or women are the only ones who are agreeing with this topic. No, it's different genders, women who have the same experience and men who share in that experience as well. I did notice that I saw more women than men, more in that later. Somebody else here says, I get told I'm trying to be white because I'm gothic and I like metal. The amount of black people that tell me that I'm whitewashed and I'm trying to be white because I listen to other stuff. It's to the point where I feel like I don't even fit in with other black people. Here's another person who chimed into this conversation. All right. So this is a chick, right? She says, I used to be afraid to admit this as a black person, but I'm not anymore. Next post says, Candace Owens. Yo, this shit's moving too fast. Hold on. Candace Owens starting to make sense. Yo. Now, as you guys could probably already guess, this is when people started not to like this trend. Because it's probably all good if you're talking about, oh, I was made fun of because I didn't know certain movies or music, or maybe can't dance or whatever. But now you're moving over into things that people pick sides over and don't talk to family members over. You're moving over into politics. Candace Owens, how dare you? Whoa, please. Here's some responses, guys. This is hot coffee. The coffee's getting hotter on the coffee pod. This first comment says, I want to know what specific point you agree with. She's like, nah, we got to have this conversation. And here's another black woman who commented and says, I love Candace Owens. Let's see responses to that. Love is crazy. They're like, yo, love is crazy. Here's another person who says, a lot of y'all don't even have permission to speak. Y'all still listen to Sexy Red and still support that city girl after what she did. Somebody else here says, what does Sexy Red's music have to do with any of this? I think here's where you see the disconnect. for people who sit here and can identify with what this chick just said, I'm just dealing with this chick's post of, I like Candace Owens, I think she's right, whatever. For them to not look at someone like Sexy Red, guys, you know I love rap music. I've told you guys that. But I had to get to a certain point where I was like, I can't listen to that. There has to be a standard as you get older. There has to be a standard as someone who wants a family and wants to raise up kids in the right way. You got to start kind of saying, I can't listen to certain types of music that's glorifying a certain type of lifestyle. It's too toxic. And some people get to that point. And you saying, what does Sexy Red's music have to do with any of it? You're just out of touch. Now, you can educate yourself, but again, it's no one's job to help people out in that regard. So let's keep reading a few more comments here. Remember, this is in response to, I used to be afraid to say, this is a black person, Candace Owens starting to make sense. This next person says, is this a safe place to agree? Ooh.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
She's like, hold on, I can drink that coffee. Another person here says, she's always, this is a black woman, she says, she's always made sense. Are people hard-headed? Another person responded back to that chick and says, that is the funniest thing ever. And another person here says, nah, but definitely recently. And let's see what else we got here. I been loved Candace Owens. Another chick here says, been made sense. Another person here says, in response to that chick who says, been made sense, I'm saying my thought, right? Literally. Another chick here says, not everything, but a lot recently. Here's somebody else who says, we love Candace. Another woman here says, I was too scared to admit. Whoa. Another person who says, not gonna lie, she does have valid points. With the crying and tired emoji. What I think is also interesting is it's very obvious that as a black person, you really will be criticized for thinking for yourself. It's almost like you're not allowed to think for yourself. The fact that people need this type of a trend to say, hey, I agree with this person, or I actually think this person has some good points, really shows the groupthink of the black community, in my opinion. And it's almost like, well, if you say it, I'll say it. And very rarely do you get people who are brave enough to just be like, F it. This is what I stand for. This is who I am. And I do not hate the black community. It's just what I think. And if you think I'm a problem and then it's self-hate and anti-black, then that's on you. Oh, here's another comment that says, I started following her on Insta. Oh, no. Me too. Damn. So Candace has been getting a lot of support from black women. Same. Okay. So let's move on. What else do you think other people were afraid to admit as a black person? Do you have something that you may be afraid to admit yourself? Comment down below. Okay. We've got a video here. I'm going to start from the beginning. This chick's explaining what she is afraid to admit. Let's see what she has to say.
Here's something I used to be afraid to admit as a black person. I'm still uncomfortable admitting this, but I'll say it anyway.
Why is she whispering? Speak up, lady. I'm trying to turn you up.
Here's something I used to be afraid to admit as a black person. I'm still uncomfortable admitting this, but I'll say it anyway.
Okay.
I will personally never marry or date someone with BBC. I strongly believe compatibility is something that's important. There's no
This chick just said BBC, bro.
reason for me to be fitting a Guinness Book of Record-sized eggplant inside a needle.
This chick's been traumatized.
Sized hole. When I was growing up, I heard stories.
My bad. She said something that was important. Hold on.
Plant inside a needle.
I'm sorry, guys.
Compatibility is something that's important.
Okay.
There's no reason for me to be fitting a Guinness Book of Record-sized eggplant inside a needle-sized hole. When I was growing up, I heard stories of small women getting torn up because they married someone and they didn't check their size.
Torn up is crazy.
And they were stuck with that situation, or they had to divorce because of that. I will not put myself in that situation. I know some of you like to say it stretches. I am not testing that. I will not be an experiment. I will not experiment. I would not traumatize my body just for the sake of testing if it works out. I will not.
That's hilarious. Yeah, she doesn't want any BBC. She says she doesn't want to deal with that. Yeah, someone traumatized this chick, bro. That's one we didn't see coming. All right, so maybe there's some ladies out there who agree, right? There's misconceptions, especially in the black community, that, you know, everybody wants that anaconda. Pause. But maybe you don't. Here are the comments. Let's see what people have to say. First comment here says, "How will you check?" That's a pretty, imagine liking a chick and she checks your shit out and all of a sudden stops liking you and you're just confused. Like, what? Someone here responding back to that comment says, "Show them this video and see how they react." The creator responded, "Smart." Another person who says, "I was never afraid to admit that. I told one ex he had to go because of it. Damn. That thing is too much for me. Go find a corn star." Okay, got you. And she responded back with laughing emojis. "Go find a corn star." Laughing emojis. "Know that you just made my day." And somebody else here says, laughing emojis. Somebody else here added, "I don't blame you. It's not worth the trauma." Imagine your girl is telling you about how an ex's joystick was a traumatic experience and how she needed help and therapy after it. That's painful. She sounds African. I don't know what part of Africa. I think South Africa, but I'm not sure. This chick says, "Facts." We've got another woman here that says, "A nurse told me that I needed to be careful because my baby daddy kept tearing me up." A nurse telling you to be careful because your baby daddy kept tearing you up is just like, I'm selfishly imagining her sharing that to the next guy and being like, "I had to leave my ex. It was just too much. It just kept tearing me up." You're sitting there like, what? Oh man. Somebody else here says this, the hands up. Another guy here says, "This is sad. For us men with above average appendages," in quotation marks, "we didn't ask for this." What a curse. What a curse. Drink that coffee.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Let me see what else we got here. Yeah, that's it. Okay, let's keep going. This next person here says, "Something I'm afraid to admit as a black person." And let's check it out. It says, "I don't like black boys. They were the main ones in elementary, middle, and high school to pick on me about complexion and my hair." She shared that. I think this one's a really interesting one because a lot of black guys have said the same thing. They didn't fit into a certain stereotype. Maybe they were too focused in the books, too educated, and they thought they were lame. A lot of guys have used the same exact excuse to not really date black women currently. And I can see women who went to high school kind of having this mindset now of being like, "Nah, I don't really mess with black men because of that experience." I can see it on both sides. Here's some comments. So top comment says, "You gotta heal, sister." Next comment says, "They were my first hater, and it took till college to see them in a light that wasn't so villainized because of how they used to treat me." Another person here responded back to her and says, "What changed during college that made you see them differently?" Genuine question. Did she respond? She says, "Definitely not different, just a different perspective. I think at the end of the day, black men could still do so much more for us and give us so much more respect/love. I just see more so now that they were projecting whatever was going on with them onto us, which was not fair and has left us with trauma we are still packing and healing from." She got some more comments here. Another person here says, "They literally only like light-skinned women anyway." And somebody else here says, "Not me. Y'all got to get off the internet sometimes." Here's somebody else that says, for real with the face palm, scared to date my own race because they picked at me more than anyone. Here's somebody else who says, you really have to heal. I don't agree with people expressing their experience and your immediate response being heal or who hurt you or whatever. I don't agree with that. I think at the end of the day, you can see where someone's coming from. They can have an experience and like this chick did, can say, I still don't date black men because it's just like, it's not what I found attractive. There are a lot of black men who had the same type of experience to some extent, right? I think it's really interesting seeing these responses. Okay, so let's see a few more here of other people sharing their experience. Okay, this person says, I used to be scared to admit this as a black person, but I'm not anymore. It says, I would never, ever, ever date a white man. The fact that it's pink is just disgusting as F. All right, let's move on there. There weren't a lot of comments on that one, so I wasn't going to delve deeply into that. Let's see what else we got here. All right, so let's see what she has to say. Why are they talking so low? Let's hear what she has to say. She says, I used to be afraid to admit this as a black person. Let's hear her. It's a video.
I used to be afraid to admit this as a black person, but I've never seen this movie.
So she's got poetic justice there on the screen. She's never seen it. Oh, no.
Nor do I wish to see this movie.
How dare she? She didn't even plan to see it.
And I will probably not see this movie. If it wasn't about no cartoons, I could care less about this movie.
Yeah, that probably triggered a lot of people, right? Grab yourself a cup of coffee, man. It's only going to get better. So let's see some comments and respond to this classic that I hear a lot of people say, if you didn't see this, you're not black. That's what I hear a lot of people say. First comment here says, go stand in the corner. That's funny. Another person here says, Godfather and Scarface, never watched them, didn't care. Somebody else here says, it's okay. My daughter is 22 and her boyfriend told her, your mom, in quotations, took your black card away. She made him watch Night at the Hawkesbury. What the F is that? Night at the Hawkesbury. We've got another comment here that says, I feel like Poetic Justice was really good for the time it came out. Seeing it for the first time now, it probably wouldn't have the same impact anyway. Another person here just wrote, overrated. Here's another comment that says, me and the boys in the hood. And so she's never seen Boys in the Hood. Here's somebody else that says, wow, this commenter cannot believe it. That's that. Let's keep going. What else? All right, so we've got another one here. This chick says, I used to be afraid to admit this as a black person, but I'm not anymore. To this day, I have never heard the song Dreams and Nightmares, nor do I know the lyrics. Okay, she's talking about a Meek Mill classic right there. Okay, this chick says, I used to be afraid to admit this as a black person, but I'm not afraid anymore. Let's see. She says, we need to learn to settle down in our 20s. Oh, no. Coffee? And build together. Whoa. Easy there. This is probably one of those ones that a lot of black people are labeling anti-black. How dare you tell black people to settle early and not continue promoting baby mama culture, broken families, etc. She got some of these comments. This chick says, late 20s, get some character development first. But you see, the problem with the whole like get character development first, character development used to be a thing that you would learn from the elders. They would sit down and they would tell you things and you would believe them. Character development now is bouncing on a joystick in Vegas on a girls' trip and going through trauma and being like, I'm healed. You know, that's what girls have for you now. It's like, what can you benefit from dating a woman who's been through a lot? Well, she's a healed woman. Why'd you need to get healed in the first place? Did you have to go through that traumatic experience? You didn't have to go to Pound Town 52 times.
I don't drink coffee.
I know you don't drink coffee. Here's somebody else who says 20s? No. Learning to settle down and stop glorifying situationships and baby mama culture? Yes. So they don't agree with 20s. I think as long as you're in your 20s, most men will look at you as somebody who they can cooperate with a lot easier than somebody who is past like 35, going into 40 and such. Anything over 30, you're in red flag territory for men who understand and are caffeinated. Another comment here says being married before having kids. Another gentleman here chimed in and says this is exactly why I'm proposing on her 27th. Okay, somebody's about to get married here. Hopefully this man drinks coffee. And she says, congrats. I pray for nothing but the best, bro. Congratulations. A bunch of people here said, congratulations. Aw, I hope she says yes. Another comment here says, there's no age limit when it comes to love. And now we've entered the land of delusion. 166 likes. Take your time. Learn yourself. Gosh, man. This is why when these people come online, and the men included, they're like, oh my gosh, my wife left me because I didn't drink coffee. What the hell is wrong with me? I should have at least taken one sip. One sip could have saved my life. They come on here crying and people, and they give a bit of a backstory to their experience. And guys are like, yo, this guy deserved this. The patience is thin. Another woman here says, real. It's like the community is afraid of marriage. Well, most people are afraid of marriage, but I think the key point here, if I would have rewrote what she said, and I'm talking about the post that was made that triggered these comments, is women today should prepare to be wives more than they do even want to get married, and more than they do want the ring. And husbands, they should understand what being a wife is and be ready to stick things through till the very end. Here's a bitter chick who commented and says, then divorce by 30. Here's another backwards woman who says, no, learn and find yourself in your 20s. Your frontal lobe isn't even fully developed until 25. Well, some people say 30. And what are you going to do? Have 5 years to geriatric pregnancy for you to build a family? Backwards thinking. And those people are the reasons why progression in this area won't happen for them. Let's see what else we got here. All right, so this chick posted a video of things she's afraid to admit as a black person. Let's listen.
Things I'm scared to admit as a black person. Y'all take Spades too seriously. I damn near lost a friendship over a Spades game.
No.
No, I don't know how to play Spades. It's not a crime. It's not a law that says black people are supposed to know how to play spades. Y'all take this shit way too seriously.
No, you can't act like this isn't facts, bro. Black people do take spades way too seriously. What I want to know is, how did she lose a friend over a spades game when she doesn't know how to play spades? Is it because they wanted her to learn how to play spades and she said she didn't care and they thought maybe she was being disrespectful to the culture? Before you think that's too far-fetched, man, there's a reason why this trend is popular and people are walking on eggshells like, can we say we don't like spades? Can we say poetic justice? You know what I mean? Let's keep listening.
Girl, I really fucking try as hard, though, because I be on all the money. Y'all take spades too goddamn seriously. I bet it's been so many broken homes over spades.
Right.
I done heard about men whooping their girls' ass because they lost the spade game.
Damn. It's not funny.
Y'all, the black community takes spades to a whole nother level than what it should be.
Right.
That's why I even like to stay away from the spades conversation.
I feel you.
Cause no.
Until now, though.
No, we ain't finna fall out about no cards, bro.
Right.
I refuse.
Right. All right, so that's that. There aren't many comments on there, but I bet you a lot of people agree with that statement. That's when I kind of was like, All right, guys, so what happened next is what we know the internet is very good at, triggering a lot of people. And that is exactly what happened when people began to express why as a black person, they were afraid to admit either that they were afraid of hood people when they're around them, or they haven't seen certain movies that would be considered classics within the black culture, or maybe they didn't listen to certain types of music, or maybe they supported a public figure like Candace Owens. Whatever it may be, maybe they don't like certain type of culture, whether it's baby mama culture or the female rappers who push a toxic message, whatever. People latch onto the thing, obviously, that triggered them the most. And that was the comment made about some black people feeling afraid around hood people. This video is captioned, please wrap those in quotation marks. Things I'm scared to admit as a black person, slides up immediately. So people were not liking these. Let's check out what this guy had to say. Let's go.
Y'all are no better than the white people for those things I'm scared about as a black person slides. Especially y'all that's talking about some, oh, I'm scared of the ghetto black people. Because if you were smart, everybody who's encountered those ghetto black people know that if you mind your business, they'll mind theirs. A lot of you don't mind your business. That's the problem now. Y'all are no better than white folks doing that. And I hate how I come on here every couple months and just show your, oh, it grinds my gears. You guys are just pests. You're like the cats that can smell cancer. Y'all don't go away. Like, please, just keep it to a minimum. Because what you guys do is open spaces for white people to agree with y'all and basically call you guys as porch monkeys behind the closed doors. I can't. Please, let's wrap it up.
All right, so he's like, let's wrap this up. He disagrees heavily, and he doesn't like what's going on. Let's see what other people had to say in his comment section, because obviously this video got a lot of comments and a lot of views, and some people agreed, like this female commenter who says, the Candace Owens one, being right is on top of this. So out of everything, they're just like, that Candace Owens, and the women who are now just starting to think, maybe she's making some good points about black culture and some negative things we may promote. That rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. He's another person who says, I'm scared of them too. No shame. We've got a chick here who responded back and says, nah, they speaking for me. Keep them coming. Yo, so this chick here actually agrees. She says, what are you talking about? I agree. They're speaking for me. I like this trend. And then you go a couple of comments down, facts, real. And then this person calls her a raccoon. Somebody else responded back, says, I'm crying. Here's another comment that says, your reaction is the reason they couldn't speak out. You're the main reason issues can't be brought up in the community. Give me a single reason to feel safe around the hood, just one. And another person said, exactly, people like him are why nothing changed. Sweep all the issues under the rug and pretend they don't exist because we don't want to give white people ammo. We got somebody else here who disagreed and says, how does them saying they're afraid of poor black people helping the community? How does it help the community, this person is saying? And the guy responded back, this is a guy who made this statement originally of, your reaction is the reason why there's no progress. He says, sure, it doesn't help, but how does sweeping their feelings under the rug help? Again, my question was simple. What is there to not fear about the hood? So as you guys can tell, things are getting controversial. People are having their own strong opinions about this. This chick says, when I seen the comments, I was blown because what? Another person who says they couldn't wait for February to end. Yo. Yeah. And so what happened next are people responded back to this video, and here's what they had to say in response to his video. Let's check it out.
Y'all that's talking about some, oh, I'm scared of the ghetto black people. Because if you were smart, everybody who's encountered those ghetto black people know that if you mind your business, they'll mind theirs.
See, this is where y'all about to piss me off. I understand that y'all don't want white people calling us aggressive, right? Because we all know, like, come on now, y'all are oppressors. It's y'all fault we got all this PTSD. Okay, but within our own community, it should be a safe space to be accountable and say, most ghetto, hood-minded black people are aggressive within our own community. I'm saying to each other. How we treat white people like shit. I don't care. To each other. Hood black people that's aggressive and comfortable with fighting and arguing all the time, they pick on the people, the other black people
who are not. They literally force us to be aggressive. I am literally living proof of that. I never like to fight. I like to talk about things. I was very logical. Bitch hated me. I minded my business, and random girls would come up to me wanting to fight because they heard I was talking about them. And I literally had no clue of their name, who they were, or what grade they were in. Do you know how many times I can count random girls starting shit with me for no reason? I never had boyfriends, nothing. Just didn't like me.
I want to say something here that I've noticed. I'm going to keep playing the video, guys, but I want to say something I've noticed. A lot of the women, some of the men too, but more on that later. I don't know if it's because I've seen a lot of responses from women, and there's a guy who addresses this. We're going to get into that. But a lot of people who feel very strongly about this particular topic are people who I'm noticing grew up in the hood and no longer live in the hood and are sharing their experience from being somebody who came out of the hood. Those are people I see who are the most passionate when they talk about it. You're going to see as we go on. Let's keep listening.
I was never aggressive. I wanted to talk about it. Do you know how scared I used to be going to school in the hood? Because I know if I had even the slightest disagreement with somebody, no, we wouldn't just talk it out. Bitch, you want to fight after school? Like, it's like y'all trying to play. And it's the same with men, with boys. Y'all know damn well in the hood, if you ain't tough, you get bullied. So the fact that y'all are gaslighting these other black people who are saying, I don't feel safe within my own community, lets you know that y'all is not willing to take accountability. Now, I get it. White people have no right to call us aggressive because it's their fault. But if another black person coming to you and saying, I don't like that aggressive ass hood shit, that hood-minded bullshit, I'm gonna beat your whip all the time. It's weird. It's uncomfortable. I used to be scared of that shit. Now I'm not. I can say I don't like it, but I ain't scared because I smack the fuck out of somebody now if I have to. No, I don't like to fight. I know how to control myself. I know how to communicate my emotions. I know how to have a disagreement with somebody without reacting. Those hella reactive ass women and men, those hood-minded people who are aggressive as stop pretending like they don't exist. And you can tell the difference from the people who fit in to that hood shit and the people who don't, because y'all are oblivious. It's giving anti-black. No, it's giving black people don't never like to take accountability when another black person calling them out about their shit. Yeah, y'all got PTSD. We all got it. Still take accountability. I don't give what nobody's saying. If you don't like a ghetto black person, you don't like a ghetto black person. Now, I'm not saying ghetto is in like long nail, like Sexy Red. That's my shit. I love ghetto-ness. But that aggression, that hood mentality of you tough, you gotta be tough, you gotta prove yourself. That's what people are talking about that they're scared of. And y'all trying to make it into something else because y'all are not trying to take accountability for it.
I can sense this. And dealing with a lot of controversial topics on my platform, I've noticed this. People are passionate when they speak on topics that trigger trauma within them. Just because you went to therapy and you maybe learned to work out why, you may carry yourself a certain way. And, you know, you've healed. You never truly get over traumatic experiences. What she's describing there is she grew up in a traumatic, highly volatile environment. And anybody, when you're talking about something that triggers trauma within you, what I've noticed from a lot of people is they get passionate. And I think that's where a lot of that passion is coming from. Let's see what else people had to say in response to her video right there. What do you think, guys, of the direction that this conversation is going? Again, I quickly realized that there are a lot of perspectives that are being shared that I could just listen to and couldn't immediately relate to. Some of them I could, but the layers are deep here. And what a lot of people, it seems like, are doing here is they're trying to shut people up and say, hey, that makes us look bad. Don't speak about that. Or you're not from there. And if you don't have history, maybe being raised up in that particular area, if you're not from there or whatever, you're not allowed to talk about that. Even though it may have affected you as a black person, you're not allowed to stay in line, do not have independent thought, and maintain the groupthink. But no, this chick's not doing that. She's sharing her experience and doesn't want to be gaslit about what she knows she's observed. Let's check out some of these comments in response to her video. This first comment says, they missing the point on purpose. She responded back and says, they would rather make the people speaking up about it seem like the betrayers, in quotation marks, because they don't like admitting the damaging cycle that has been done in the community that no one's willing to change. Yeah, she probably looks back for anybody who was raised up in an environment that was traumatic. They didn't ask to be there. They have to work through that if they come out of that. I think it's very odd that people want to shut people up and call them anti-black for speaking against a part of their experience and what they see in the black culture as toxic. Here's somebody else who says, girl, this falling on deaf ears. Somebody else here says, exactly, this video needs to go viral. I grew up in the hood and I got picked on and bullied for not being aggressive. And she responded back and says, and acknowledging that trauma does not make you anti-black. I agree. Another woman here says, he literally proved their point. Somebody else here says, I knew they were about to gaslight these people as if they didn't know what they were talking about. That's why I stayed away. Let's see what else some other people had to say as this topic began to slowly switch into, oh, okay, that's funny, to very real life controversial opinions. All right, so here's somebody else responding back to the dude's video who's like, yo, wrap this shit up. You're making us look bad in front of white people.
Y'all know better than the white people for those things I'm scared about as a black person slides. Especially.
Y'all, so the guy just he pissed me the hell off. Let me explain, because, you know, I've seen his video, and, you know, most of us have seen, you know, the videos that was like, oh, I'm black and older now, so I can admit this. And specifically, one girl was like, oh, you know, when I go to the hood, I feel unsafe or whatever. And this guy was like, oh, well, you only said that because that's giving white people ideals or whatever. But, like, white people have been felt like that. So I'm confused, because let me explain. So, you know, there's white people who feel unsafe just because they just don't like black people. But then people like the girl that I seen who said, I don't feel safe in the hood, is because she, and, you know, turn of events, was from the hood, but she was never like the person to be like, you know, oh, let me shoot, let me do this and do that. I'm not saying every hood does that, but, like, you know, if you grow up in chaos, you eventually want better for yourself, right? And I feel that, and that was her point. But this guy was like, oh, y'all just giving white people ideals, and this is why white people this and that. I'm like, you must be the slave because you keep calling for your master. You know, I'm sorry if that, you know, gets me canceled or whatever but, like, he generally made me mad because they're right. You know, there is a whole bunch of black people within the black community that's like, I like rock music, I like anime, I'm different. And because of that, they're judged. You know, how many times you be like, oh, I like anime, and they're like, oh, so you don't like sports or 2K? So, all right, you know, bully, whatever. Like, bitches used to bully me in middle school because I used to draw. And we're just middle schoolers, so.
And so, guys, this gentleman said a lot right there. Part of what he said, I think a lot of people can relate to. He said, you know, if you liked anime, if you were different, if you listened to certain types of music, you were ostracized or clowned on because of that, or you weren't black enough or whatever, or called whitewashed. He said he was picked on because he liked to draw. So the fact that people are sitting here acting like these people are saying crazy shit that they never went through, and they're responding back with, hold on, stop it. You're not about to make me seem anti-black for sharing with you what I went through in my experience. I applaud it. This is good.
I don't even consider that attack on the black community, but even now, as a 28-year adult, there's some black people that be like, oh, you into that weird shit? Like, why are you doing that? I'm sorry if I don't want to shoot and gang bang and roam the streets and do this little ass shit. So, that creator, I hope he steps on a Lego, because he really pissed me off. And I don't never make videos attacking nobody, but just like, he completely missed the point. So everyone who is black, Latino, or whatever, if you're different than what the standard, aka the standard is, keep doing you. Be somebody. Do something different, because what the fuck?
Let's see what people had to say here. First comment says, I live in the hood, and it's definitely beyond a race thing. So many other races also live in the hood, but it's more about like a collective behavior inside their neighborhoods. Somebody else here says, laughing emojis, he just yapping. Like, if you agree with a white person, it's an issue. Here's somebody else that says, yeah, that was a mess. All right, guys. So as you guys can tell, that whole response of y'all are no better than white people to the black people who were expressing times when they felt like they were made fun of for not being black enough, quote unquote, backfired for the people who felt like they were ostracized and made fun of for being exactly that, or didn't fit in, or had a bad experience being raised up in the hood and are afraid of hood people as a result. Now, we've got a few more people who still had a problem with this trend, of course. A lot of people had a lot to say, of course. Things were getting even more heated between people who were viewing this trend as anti-black. This TikToker posted a video with the caption, something I'm afraid to admit as a black person trend. And here's what she had to say. Let's check it out.
The people who are the real villains of this black people trend are not even the black people talking about they don't like ghetto black people. That is just a part of the problem. Like, that's not even the real issue of this. The real issue is you black people talking about you feel white around other black people. What in the world, in the hell, in the has you feeling that way?
Did I didn't see a video where a black person said they feel white. Now, I saw videos of black people saying they were called white or whitewashed. Or is she just trying to flip shit? I don't understand. Maybe I'm wrong, guys, here, real quick. Have you ever felt white around black people? Or did black people call you white, and as a result, you felt out of place because maybe, like the guy who posted and said, hey, I got made fun of for having a vast vocabulary, or somebody else who said I got made fun of for liking anime. The guy who said I used to get made fun of for drawing. Comment down below. Let's keep listening.
I don't know who taught y'all what makes you feel a color. Y'all make any slightest thing of what you think perfectness is close to whiteness, and I don't like that shit. I don't care if I'm the smartest, most beautiful, the most decorum in the room. I'm never gonna feel like I'm a white person. You know what I think when you tell me you feel like a white person? That tells me you don't wash your legs, you don't season your food, you want to beat me, and now I feel attacked, and now I'm scared of you. You are the people that are worse than the ghetto people. I never want to be around any black person who gets around any other black people and feels like they're white. Y'all pissing me off. Y'all are pissing me off.
Let's move on. I don't even want to look at the comments in that because I just don't think that was a genuine video. I think maybe she misinterpreted what somebody was saying about being called whitewashed, and then misinterpreted that as to them saying that they're not black and they feel white. I don't know. So guys, here we have another TikToker that was triggered with people describing their experience in the hood or around hood people, or maybe being made fun of for not being black enough. This TikToker thought that those black people were treating those other black people as some type of subspecies of humans. Let's listen to what he had to say.
The fact that y'all is out here talking like black people from the hood is like a subspecies of black people just because they was born or live in a certain part of the city is crazy. FY, nobody from the hood is thinking about y'all scary ass. Like real shit. Have a good day.
All right. So let's see the responses to that. Top comment there says, ooh, he's hurt. Didn't even make it a minute. And so, again, guys, people are getting divided out here. All right. People are out here. They're being divided by all this because maybe some people feel attacked. It's a highly controversial issue. And this comment turned into a thread with somebody else saying the glass is killing me. I think he's talking about Is it him with the
It's
glasses?
like a subspecies of black real shit.
The glasses killing me. I think he's talking about his glasses that he's wearing. Another person who says, "Damn, a guy can't see." That's hilarious. see. This is the exact type of shit the people are talking about. All of a sudden, he's not black because he wears glasses now. Get you some contacts, my boy. Somebody else here says Urkel thought he did something with the laughing emojis. All right, so this commenter says black people from the hood don't like hood people. It's why your favorite rapper lives in a gated community. Somebody else respond back, says laughing emojis for real, for real. Somebody else says, have you ever seen a rapper move to a gated community by himself? He's literally bring everyone he liked from the hood. And another person here says, but he still left the hood. There's nice houses in the hood too, but he decided to move. Oh, he decided to move. They know what it is. Damn, the way stuff's written here, it's hard to follow. And so people are beefing in the comment section. Another person who says she didn't say black people from the hood. She said hood people, which is an attitude and the way those type of people carry themselves. That sounds more on point. What do you guys think? Some people haven't even made it this far into the video. They've already made judgments, maybe are judging this whole thing. But I think it's worth kind of understanding exactly what she meant. I think it's a mentality that's being addressed and not necessarily people who are from the hood, because that would just be way too ignorant. You can't just think just because someone either sounds hood or is from the hood that they fit into a certain type of mindset that may be prevalent in that hood, right? Comment down below. Let's keep listening. Another comment here says, as a project baby that moved to the burbs, I'm not scared of the hood, but I'm definitely aware of who and what not to mess with. Another person here says, it's not location, it's personality. What do you guys think? Here's another comment that says, black people from the hood are the coolest people. All right, so that was that. And this TikToker responded back to a comment that was made towards him here in this video that said, ooh, he hurt. Didn't even make it a minute. So he's saying the last video he made wasn't even a minute long. This is what he had to say.
Ooh, he hurt. Didn't even make it a minute. I mean, I can.
And so he proceeds to literally stare at the camera for a minute, which is actually pretty funny. I thought this was hilarious. Yeah. We're not gonna watch this for a minute though. Let's check out the comments. Top comment says, every time he do this, I'm gonna watch the whole minute. Somebody else here says, it's gotta be the funniest response ever, gang. Somebody else here says, easiest check ever. Another person who says, that's fact. We watched the whole video. Is crazy. Somebody else who says, take your time, Pastor. All right, so just to summarize what his video was about, I think he does have a point in the sense that you can't say everybody from, if he actually meant from the hood, fits into your definition of the mentality of what most people genuinely consider hood, right? If we're using the general definition. And we have to use the general definition because life works in generalities. I think there are people who are from the hood or people that you may mistake as hood or people who even may identify as hood who may not fit into those negative stereotypes. Now, keep in mind, guys, I'm addressing the most controversial issue here. There are people who said they're made fun of for having a vast vocabulary, for people who said that they were made fun of for listening to rock music, whatever. Those are individual offshoots of this discussion. I'm sort of just taking in and learning as I go. What do you guys think of what he had to say? What would you say? What do you guys think of what he had to say? What would you say in response to his video? So we've got another chick here who also doesn't like this trend of black people admitting things they're afraid to admit. Let's check it out.
The ghetto people y'all are so scared about that y'all posting about, they don't give a f about y'all. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. They not stun y'all. Like, I promise y'all the last thing on their mom. I think y'all associate criminals in the word ghetto or hood people as the same. Just because you're from the hood, that doesn't mean that you're a criminal, and just because you're a criminal doesn't mean you're from the hood. What y'all really don't like is criminals. But you just don't want to say that. You start talking about, oh, I don't like hood people, I don't like ghetto people. No, you hold this bias, and it's just like, I don't know, y'all, it's giving anti-black. Like, I don't know what y'all thought y'all was giving, or y'all thought y'all was eating by saying, oh, I'm a suburban black girl, I don't like hood girls. Bitch, like, who are y'all trying to impress?
All right, so she's over there cursing people out. Let's check out some of these comments. This commenter here says, you must be one of them. Here's somebody else that says, you know the ghetto they're talking about. Come on. He's like, come on. Why are you acting like you don't know what they're talking about? You know what they're talking about. I think they do. Here's somebody else who says, facts. I'm from the hood, but I'm not ghetto nor a criminal. Then somebody may respond and be like, well, they may not be talking about you. Here's somebody who says that while posing with a gun. Damn, really?
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
There's no way, bro. There's no way. Dude's really posing with the gun? Oh, shoot. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Because he has it blurred out right there. Saying that while posing with the gun is crazy. This is that back. Here it is. This is the backwards mentality that here's a chick who chimed in and says, but when a Caucasian child poses with one, it's patriotic. The ignorance is astounding, for real. Somebody else who says, all guns aren't illegal. I live in a carry state, clown. Now, it's the same thing with the Caucasian kids. No one looks at that shit as patriotic. Let's be honest. You look at that kid like he might be the next you-know-what out here. Somebody else here says it's a behavior issue, not a skin issue. Who says it's a skin issue? Who says it's a skin issue? All right, so we've got another video here with the chick with a video that's captioned, I'm black and I'm scared to admit she doesn't like it. So she's making fun of the trend. Let's check it out.
Why is it that every time that there's a trend where black people come out and they talk about how they're different from the normal black person and the normal black people experience, that it just becomes just very disrespectful and degrading? And it gives like, I actually don't like black people. I actually think I'm better than the normal black person. And I'm actually proud that I have a different perspective than other black people. Because y'all never just stop at, you know, oh, I'm black and I'm scared to admit that I don't know how to dance. It's like, okay, that's a hoot. Like, haha. Y'all gotta go into, oh, I'm black and I'm scared to admit that I love to read. Excuse me?
I don't get what she thought she was saying there. That's no different from somebody saying I was made fun of for having a vast vocabulary. I've had dudes tell me who are black, this dude knows too much. You know too much, you read, they'll say, man, you know too much, bro. Right? That shit was I laughed for like 30 minutes straight just because I couldn't believe what I was hearing. How could you be clowned on for knowing too much? Now, there's something I noticed. The more of these videos I watched, I saw more women than men actually having this conversation. That could be for a couple of different reasons. Number one, men don't really talk that much, right? Women are always talking, yapping, saying something. Got something to say all the time. Can't shut up. I'm kidding. But it could also be that TikTok in particular is just a platform where that skews more liberal, and so there are more women on it. But the third reason could be this. Shout out to John Cannon 2.0. He responded to this whole trend of things I am afraid to admit as a black person, but I'm not anymore. Let's check it out.
I don't know if y'all have seen this, but it's a 2-slide show. It says, I used to be afraid to admit this as a black person, but I'm not afraid anymore. I get really nervous and anxious when I'm around hood people. And then I went to the comment section, right? Shawty said, girl, I don't even go over there. I don't know the rules. This is so unfortunate for women specifically, like, who grew up in the suburbs. Because no matter what, like, if you go around some hood dudes, they don't mess with you. They don't mess with you at all. Especially if they can tell you not from around here, they do not mess with you. They hit you with what's going on, man. They don't mess with you. Hood girls really are the mean. Don't let them be attractive. Mean hood girls, that has to be the scariest shit ever for y'all, right? Because there's two types. There's a really, really nice ghetto black girl. That's really, really nice. There's no in between, y'all. And then there's the ones who are really, really mean to the ones who are from the suburbs. There is no in between. You just gotta hope you got one of the really nice ones. Jesus Christ. I've said it time and time again. Men, y'all might have some deep, dark hate for women deep down inside because y'all feel like women are evil. Women are never as evil to men as they are to women. Oh my God. Bro, the preppy black girls can't catch a break. The preppy white girls don't like them. The other preppy black girls be trying to be the other token, so they be beefing. And then they got to choose to be around the correct hood black girls. It's just never a good deal. Meanwhile, dudes just be cool, bro. I've seen this shit firsthand. Dudes are just cool. Other than that real small select group of them specifically black dudes who come from not so good of a neighborhood, they be athletes, sometimes they be assholes, sometimes they put their hands on people type shit, like bullying type shit. But that group is much smaller than mean girls in school specifically. Boy, girls, I done told y'all stories. I remember a girl getting stomped out by other girls until she pissed on herself, and then they recorded her and took pictures of her.
Wow.
That's just one example. You know, it's crazy. It ain't even just black girls. White girls too, yeah. Boy, during that narcissistic development into like women, y'all be the devil. Y'all be the devil.
It's interesting. That what he said there reminds me of a video I recently released of a chick who's talking about how she went from fat to very, very fit, and how the most vicious people she dealt with were fellow women. So it could be why women feel strongly about this particular topic, even more strongly than men. Whereas when men see each other, there's also that underlining, threat of violence that if you're a man, right? There's only so much disrespect you take until you're willing to die for what you believe in at the end of the day. Let's check out some of these comments, see what he had to say here. First comment here says, we're not going to act like some of them preppy black girls. Don't be just as mean. The hood girls just can't fight. I think that meant to say can fight. So somebody else here says, I'm a hybrid. I'd be fine either way. This is somebody who doesn't really matter. Somebody else here says, as a suburban black girl, this is 100% fact. Here's a chick who says, I lived in the hood. The hood mean girls was the worst bullies. Now the guy here responded back and said, he said that the mean girls are way meaner to other girls than they are to men. And that's new information to me. Now I'm curious. And she responds and says, it's so true. Shaking my head. Here's another comment from a man who says, ain't no lie. I don't know the rules either. LOL. Somebody else here. A woman says those hood girls were mean for no reason. I was just quiet. Here's a chick who says nice hood girls have problems with mean hood girls too. That's where that saying, it's the quiet ones that got them hands, comes from. A few more videos here. What do you guys think of what was said there by John Cannon? Let's see what else we have here. All right, so this guy says, I'm black and I used to be afraid to admit this. And he's giving his opinion. Let's get it.
The I'm black and I used to be afraid to admit this trend is hilarious. But a lot of that shit is relatable as hell, y'all. So I was scrolling through, I was laughing at a few of them or whatever, and there was one that stuck out to me the most. It was basically this dude saying that he was afraid to admit that because he can speak properly and because he has extensive vocabulary, that he's whitewashed. And I couldn't tell you how many times I get that shit a day, bro. Still to this day. So I grew up in the hood, but then I transferred schools like middle school, and I went to the suburbs, bro. So when I made that transition, it was weird as because at one point they just tell me, oh, you're too hood to go to this school. And it was in a nice neighborhood. And then as I got older, people started telling me like, damn, bro, you white as hell, or you sound white, or this, that, and the third, because of my vocabulary and like the way I was articulating myself.
Right.
So which one is it, bro? But yeah, I still get that shit to this day, man. That shit crazy as like, how the makes sense? Like a nigga can't be smart or some shit? Like, what the
Shit, that shit is hella funny. Let's see the comments. So the top comment here says, so you still say this is happening. So does that mean you still hang with ghetto black people? Right? ... Because who is still picking on you about that? Unless your associates are less articulate than you. He responds and says, I think it's because they don't expect it because of my tattoos or stuff I post. I don't know. Somebody else just says, just because you grew up in the hood doesn't mean you gotta stay in the hood. He responds back and says, I agree, bro. Went to the suburbs. It was a culture shock, but it was for the better. This person says, this cringe, grow up. I don't get it. Why are you upset? Why are you upset by what he's sharing? All right, so we had another person here who said, hey, we need to speak up about more so, not the petty stuff, the you're black and haven't seen this movie, whatever. He's like, we need to speak up about maybe some of the toxic things we disagree with, because there's more of us out here that actually think the same way. His video is captioned, I'm a black person, but I used to be scared to admit this, but I'm not anymore, as all the videos were. And this is what he had to say. Let's get it.
I'm a black person, and I used to be...
Hold on, start from the beginning.
This trend of I'm a black person, and I used to be scared to admit this, but I'm not anymore. Y'all got to speak up. Y'all got to speak up, because if you don't notice, a lot of us are starting to agree on things that have always made sense, but we're too scared to speak against the masses, or we're scared to go against the grain because we're scared to be called out. We have to start calling out the bullshit for what it is, especially if we want better and or if we want to progress. Some of us be entertaining the bullshit knowing that it's not right. We consider it cute. We consider it funny. And we know it's wrong. We know it's childish. We know it makes us look bad. But for some reason, we sit up there and deal with it, and we're scared to sit up there and talk against it, because we know when we start to talk against some of these topics, we know the masses or a lot of people are going to come and attack us because they don't agree with us. It's okay to stand out. I just told y'all the other day, I don't agree with a lot of the stuff you say. Most of y'all don't agree with the stuff I say on here, but I'm going to say it anyways because it is what it is and it needs to be said. If you know it's bullshit, call it out for what it is.
All right, so my man here is like, hey, there's some topics that really need to be addressed. Toxic things that are perpetuated within the culture. We know single mother culture is one of those things. The women not thinking that marrying before they carry, is a big one for sure. By the way, I'm not saying these are things he would necessarily agree with, but we all know, let's see some of these comments. The first comment here says, I'm a black person, but I'm scared to admit I'm uncomfortable around my own people. I'm sorry, but I just haven't felt welcomed in our community. Here's somebody else who says, I'm a black person. I think we make people famous for being unhinged. Whoa. She brings up a good point. She says, I think we make people famous for being unhinged. If you think of public figures like Krishan Rock, toxic culture, there's a bunch of TV shows that are just focused on toxicity within relationships, people fighting all the time, men beating the hell out of women. How is it that that's okay? How are people just okay seeing the type of relationship that someone like Krishan Rock and Blueface have? Crazy. She goes on to say, we end up getting mad when folks that ain't black perceive us to be that way. Krishan is an example. Can't be mad. She does the 2P sign. It's funny. I didn't even think she was going to mention Krishan. That's exactly what came to mind. And then when you say that type of culture is toxic, people act like, what are you talking about? Here's another person that says that no snitching thing was always BS, in my opinion. Right. I agree with that. The culture, the no snitch culture is crazy. The no snitch culture is crazy. I've always thought it's wild. I will call the police fast, not slow. Fast, not slow, with no hesitation. This culture of just take it to the chin, don't call the police, handle it your way so you could go to jail is wild. Somebody else here says, absolutely. Another person says, oh my gosh, yes. Somebody else here says, facts, straight facts, definitely. Facts, thank you. People agree. We've got another comment here from a man. He has a confession. He's finally ready to say something as a black person. He says, I'm a black person, and the first time my smoke alarm beeps, I immediately stop what I'm doing to get a battery to put in it. Wow, progress. Another chick here says, because I would never understand accepting a bonnet in public before natural hair. Progress. Shout out to you, Miss Jax. Yes. Somebody else here says, wait a damn minute. I'm going to use that in my argument now. Thank you so much. Accepting a bonnet before natural hair. Here's somebody else who says, I'm tired of being judged for liking rock/alternative music more than rap. Here's somebody else who says, I agree on the ghetto and loud one. I be feeling secondhand embarrassment.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better. Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Somebody else who says, I'm a black person and I don't watch black movies because they're all the same script with different characters. How dare you? How dare you? Somebody else respond back and says this. Another person here says, I feel this, but about 90% of movies Hollywood puts out. That's probably most movies today. But guys, I didn't watch the Tyler Perry movie just based on the fact that like same shit. Like, can we get more creative? And I'm somebody who actually appreciates Tyler Perry for what he's contributed. But damn, bro. I'm not trying to hate it all. But it's the black woman and meaning the big bluff black dude, and we know he's gonna clap the cheeks. And all the women are sitting there going, oh my gosh. Somebody else here says, I'm a black person and I love Taylor Swift. This is too far. We can't accept this. This is where I draw the line. No, I'm just kidding. It says, and I have never cared for Jordans. Same here. Somebody else says, I can't dance. It's embarrassing because I literally have no rhythm. Y'all, I can't even join in the electric slide. Damn, that's brutal. Not even the electric slide. I'm not trying to get on her because I'm right there with you. I've never taken myself too seriously dancing. That's just the truth. Here's somebody else who says, we our own worst enemy. That's this person's opinion. Somebody else who says, being authentic is way better than always being liked. I like that. Somebody else here added, I'm a black person and I think that we need to continue breaking these generational curses. Cut anyone off who keep crossing boundaries, including family members. As somebody who came from a good family, I used to wonder, like, man, what would make somebody cut off their family? And then you meet other people's family and you understand. Somebody else here says, I'm black and don't give an F about Jordans or any other unreasonable priced items that black people judge if you don't own. Somebody else here says, I'm a black person and I'm not a fan of Beyonce and Jay-Z. Oh, well, I don't care. Nurse Bay, you're pushing it. This person says, I'm a black person. I'm still alive because I stopped going to black clubs and areas. Oh, man. I think this chick says, oh, this one's crazy. I'm scared to say that I want marriage and I believe it works. Don't be afraid. We got just a few more videos here, guys. If you're still here right now, let me know in the comment section if you're still here. That means you've enjoyed this video and you are a true subscriber. And of course, guys, people didn't like what he said in that video and also had to give their 2 cents, all right, in response to what he had to say. Let's see the responses. Let's get it.
Against the masses. Or we're scared to go against the grain because we're scared to be called out.
I'm going to use this trend to call out some experiences that I've had with suburban black people, because for some reason most people on this trend seem to think that these things only apply to the hood. So I'm just going to paint a small picture of how terrible I have been treated by suburban black people. When
Talk to us.
I was in college, I was ostracized, othered, excluded from a lot of things because I wasn't their type of black. When I was in college, I was at a party and a song came on that I liked, and I was like, hey! And they all gave me the nastiest looks I have ever seen in my life. My name was Track Booty on campus because, once again, y'all hypersexualize hood black women. Nobody bothered.
Guys, I'm actually following what she says because I'm interested. But who hypersexualizes hood? Who? Does the media? And do we push that and support it?
To learn my name, and then when the one person who decided to spill the tea told me that they thought I was aggressive and mean and what else? I've had suburban black men tell me that I am not worthy of marriage due to how I grew up in my household, and then try to use their education to manipulate me into becoming the subservient woman that they want.
Okay, so she might be subservient, feminist, modern woman. I'm sensing here, just calling it as it is.
I have had a suburban boy take me in his neighborhood, look me in my face to tell me, yeah, girl, this is different than the projects. You ain't never seen nothing like this, huh? And last but not least, I refuse to work in corporate settings. I work at a hotel. I refuse to get a serious, high-level, high-paying job because of how traumatized I am by the way suburban black people treated me. I do not want to deal with white people and suburban black people trying to step on me because that's how y'all act, like many Caucasian people. Many white supremacists is how you all act. Y'all use hood black people as martyrs to get what you want, and when those hood black people don't act within the bounds to help you get your way or what you deem as acceptable, you other ostracize and criticize just like your white counterparts. I was going to end this after the kiss, but I have more to add. I also want to say I expect that type of behavior from white people. I'm going to just say that. I expect that from white people. It was a shock. It was a culture shock to me to get to college and have black people treat me how the white people back home used to treat me. That shit is crazy. And I know y'all hate to say, well, you're whitewash, you're this, you're that. But subconsciously, I don't think y'all realize how deep it runs. Like, y'all legitimately have a problem. We have our problems in the hood, but our problems don't stop you from getting to the next level. Do you understand that? You ostracize yourself by that. We don't do that. We don't have the access to ostracize you. Y'all do, and that's the type of shit y'all do.
I think she made a pretty valid point there towards the end, which we'll address that. Let's see what some of these comments have to say. This first comment says, we need to unpack about how college is a lovely breeding ground for all the isms. Somebody else here says, Gen X here, and where I grew up, they were, in quotations, hood, quotations, suburbia, and affluent. And the affluent was the damn problem. Burbs and the hood actually got along, but affluent, nope. They acted like that. Somebody else here says, I'm a black suburban woman. I believe you. They are digested and well elite. Here is another video that I think is worth looking at. Let's get it.
I never thought that I would say this, but y'all actually made me cry from this app. I never want to get up here with tears in my eyes, but the trend, I used to be too afraid to say this as a black person, but then a lady said that she's scared around hood people. I ended up going down a rabbit hole and watching a few of the videos and explanations of people who agreed with her statement. And I just came on here to let you know, you need to check your biases at the door. Check your bigotry at the door. Because what's happening is that you feel like this about hood people, and then you get into the workforce and you have to work with someone who's a hood just like me. And your biases show. Standoffish, blocking people's money, blocking people's success, because you are questioning why a hood that you're scared of is excelling more than you are. And I've had this happen to me so many times from other black people. It's hurt my feelings so much over the years because I just want to know what it's from. But now I know it's that level of insecurity and that you're scared, afraid. I've had black people that I've worked with in the past question why I get paid the amount I get paid, why I have so much authority at this workplace. I've had them go and double check my work, something that nobody asked them to do. But since they think for whatever reason I'm not capable of doing a job, I've had other black people go double check my work that nobody asked them to do. And I really think it got to me this morning because I'm like, it's okay to have those feelings. I really don't care how you feel. But when it spills over into the workplace and then the person on the receiving end can't pinpoint or can't verbalize why you're being treated the way you are from people who look just like you, it's disheartening. Y'all have these biases and y'all carrying them into the workplace. Y'all are teaching y'all kids this. It's carrying on into the schools. It's all around, all because you are afraid. You need to sit down and go speak to the lady. I read the comment and there's all types of ignorant ass statements on why you scared of hood people and why you scared of the da-da-da-da-da-da-das and this, that, and the third. Y'all sound just like white people who just base us on the color of our skin. Y'all are judging all people off of one experience that y'all had that one time y'all was in the ghetto one time. And let me tell you what ends up happening in my experience. I end up working with somebody for 3-4 months and he ends up coming up to me saying, oh, you're so cool. You're nothing like what I thought you would be. And then when I put a clear divide between us, I'm wrong. Now I'm standoffish. I have an attitude, all of these things because I don't want you around me because you judge me for no reason. And I don't like people like that. Then you run around with the rest of the brigade saying, I don't think she likes me. I don't think she really likes me. No, you judge me for no reason and I don't want to be around you. I don't care if you change your judgment of me now and you think highly of me. You should have never judged me from the beginning and now you can never be around me. Now there's a clear divide. Now I do have the attitude you thought I had before. And now don't be around me. Don't try to be friends with me. Don't try to be chummy with me. I don't care if we both the only 2 black girls here and all that other stuff. Never judged you. I gave you a clean slate from the day I met you. You was just a human. And now that you showed me your true colors because you judge me, I'm the wrong one. That's what always ends up happening. It's just, I want y'all to check your biases and your bigotry. I want y'all to figure this out before y'all start passing this down to the kids. Because the ignorance is wild. Y'all are weird. I'm not telling you to let your guards down, but I'm telling you stop being so judgmental because anybody from the hood know rule number 1 is as long as you mind your business, 9 times out of 10 you're going to be all right. And not for nothing, the people that y'all scared of, they could feel that you scared of them. That's why they prey on y'all. That's why they bother y'all. Because they know who to play with. They could smell the fear coming off you. That's why they play with y'all like that. Anyway, check your biases. I'm not crying and I'm not mad no more.
Hold on. Did she flip off the camera there?
Biases. I'm not crying and I'm not mad no more.
Oh, she did. Regardless, I'm going to give this chick the benefit of the doubt. I'll say this. I think she has a valid point in this context. If there are people who work in corporate America and they come across, I'm not talking about black people here. If you're a black person who works in corporate America and you identify with being more suburban and having more suburban roots, and you come across somebody who sounds hood to you or also has identified as being hood, as she has, I think it is wrong to assume that they may be incompetent or they just have a hood mindset. That goes without saying though, right? But like my mother used to say, common sense isn't that common. So I think a lot of people do this without realizing it. Most people have judgments. Most people look at a certain white man, for example, who's wearing an American flag and think, oh, racist, probably going to vote for Donald Trump. Most people can look at someone like her and say, oh, you sound hood and you probably have a hood mentality of approaching life in general. And you have to be open to the realization that you may be wrong. I think when she's talking about biases, that's what she means by you have to check those because maybe you're in a position of power and you may be judging somebody and may just may not like somebody for how they sound, but they actually may be competent when it comes to what they do and the work that they do. Now, let's not forget that there are other elements of this conversation too, of people who've been judged for not being black enough, etc. All right, guys, so we're finally ending from the very beginning. Do you remember this chick? The one who started this whole trend? Well, she faced so much backlash from all the different people who joined the trend, different people who had different controversial opinions, and she finally decided to respond to all the backlash from the people who strongly disagreed with her. Here is what she had to say. Let's check it out. This is going to be our last video. Let's go. So in this video, she was responding back to one of the commenters who had the same sentiment as the people who thought this was anti-black. The person says, saying you're afraid of the hood or the people that live in it just further perpetuates the idea that poor and / or black people are dangerous / criminal, which we know isn't necessarily true. And here's what she had to say to that.
You know what's funny is that as I was reading my comments, it seemed like a few people shared your thought process that you have going on here. And that's fine, because there's always going to be those few, those opposers and those people that just can't comprehend, and that's okay. Listen, I just gave my experience, and my comment section begs to differ, because apparently this is what a lot of us have experienced. So what's understood don't got to be explained. If you can't relate, you can't relate. If this is not your experience, that's great. But this is just mine. And I stand on that. And if you don't like it, you can always keep scrolling, keep walking, keep rolling. All right?
All right. Again, that's Brooklyn Bread 1981 on TikTok. Listen, here's my very short conclusion to this whole thing, because I'll be honest with you guys, there's a lot that was said, and I want to know what you personally think. That's what I'm actually here to read. I want to know your thoughts. That's the purpose of this video. Comment your thoughts down below. I'm curious. This is a highly interesting topic to me. But I'll say this. If I'm going to take some wisdom or share any wisdom with anybody about this particular topic, it's going to be this. The wisdom that I think most people would benefit from here if they were to learn something, it's number one, all black people aren't the same. Just because you don't fit into a stereotypical box of what is expected as a black person, the way you talk, the things you enjoy, your views on life, it doesn't mean that you're not black. Doesn't mean that you're not black. That statement in itself is controversial because, again, within the black community, people want to divide and divide and divide. If you were raised here most of your life but not born here, you're not black. If you look black but don't sound black, you're not black, right? It goes on. It goes on and on. But don't believe it. I'd say that. Also, wisdom is also realizing, though, that not everybody who's from the hood or may sound hood to you, or maybe even identify as hood, will fit into what most people would generally define as a hood mentality. You can argue what that definition is, but you know what I mean. How people view the mentality, what she was talking about. That she's not willing to go into detail for him because she was raised in the hood and doesn't want to explain herself. She's just like, man, if you don't get it and you just want to argue. But not everybody who sounds like, oh, is from the hood, because she was from the hood, she doesn't fit into that idea that she was trying to say she's afraid of, that mentality of people that she's afraid of. She doesn't fit into that. And the only way you can know that isn't by looking at somebody and making a judgment, for sure. Yes, presentation does matter. But the only way you can truly know that is by talking to people. And that requires bravery. People don't want to sound stupid, so they don't want to break certain social norms. You don't want to talk to somebody because you're like, they might judge me because they may think I don't talk proper, or they may think I talk too proper. You have to talk to somebody to figure out how they work and their mentality. That's how you learn. But again, I would say the way you carry yourself matters to some extent. It does play a role. Sometimes you don't need to talk to anybody further anymore than just watching them in a specific type of situation, seeing how they react. Both can be true. Overall, this is a really interesting conversation to me. I don't do videos like this very often, and I'm curious to see what the result will be in this video. Guys, I'm curious to know what you think. Long video. Comment down below. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for checking out What's Brewing. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.